Hello, Roland.
Hello, Jan. Hello. Thank you.
So, you prepare for us something about SEFAR?
Yes. Welcome to the workshop here. It's nice to be here.
Again.
And it's a very good organization of this workshop. And I will give you some information about SEFAR and the mesh. As you know, the mesh is like the Swiss cheese. We have holes. We're just producing holes. Let's start a little bit, some information, general information about SEFAR. SEFAR is one of the largest weaving company in Switzerland and in Europe. We have a capacity of more than 10 million square meters per year. And we had last year net sales about close to 350 million Swiss franc, the strong Swiss franc. Mesh-related business is around 290 million Swiss franc. We have worldwide close to 3,000 persons who is working for SEFAR. We have yarn production in different countries, weaving plants in different countries. It's up to the risk management that we have different plants. If something happens with one plant, we can switch to another plant. For example, we have fabrication centers worldwide. And the business segment, as you can see, is not just screen printing, it's also other businesses.
But everywhere you are producing Swiss quality.
Yes,
holes.
Of course. Yeah, still Swiss quality, despite the high tax of US. So we have the process filtration, for example. It's also very important today, environmental, minerals, life science, for example. Then component, it goes more to the medical, to the pharma industry, with protection sustainability in the acoustic, because for example, everyone has a smartphone, and behind this little stainless steel mesh, which you can hear or speak, there is a small acoustic mesh that we are producing. Then screen printing coming later on. Smart fabric is a very special, it's a project-driven industry for heating, sensing, sensoric. And the composite membranes is microfiltration. As you know, there are small particles, as Mario will mention in his presentation, that we have to prevent to go through. So this is in this area. So you can see that's a wide range that we are producing at SEFAR. We are able, from the yarn to the ready-make fabric, so we not have to buy the raw materials for the yarn manufacturing in Asia or US, so we are buying this from Europe. So we are really independent. Someone else?
Absolutely perfect. Today we want to talk about screen printing.
Yes, of course. We are focusing now on screen printing.
So let's go on.
Let's go on. First of all, a quick overview what we have as product lines in our portfolio. The PET 1500 is the main product line. It's starting from very coarse mesh to 10 threads per centimeter up to 190 threads per centimeter. Then it's coming to the special mesh here, the PME, the precision mesh. We are talking later on about PME mesh. Then we have some specialty like the glass line, as the name is calling. Glass line is using for printing onto glass, mostly automotive, car glass or facade construction glass. Then we have a small PA, polyamide, which is more or less 3% of our whole production. It's for uneven shapes printing.
Okay.
And then a new one is here, the open mesh, which we're talking later on.
It seems to me you have the wide range of your products. Can our customers somehow know which one they should use for this production?
Yeah, you can see here a little bit about the application of screen printing, and below it describes for maybe the polyamide tiles, decals, light, heavy garment fabric for the open mesh. So it comes later on, label, decals, finishing. So you can see here below on the table what you could fit on the product line and the application so far.
Okay. But we will talking about it later.
Yes.
Yeah, perfect.
Coming to the the first topic. That means PME, precision mesh. We have developed this years ago with a special thread in it. The yarn is special made because we get the higher strengthness and less elongation. Means for high precise jobs in close tolerances.
Okay, it sounds perfect.
You can see a little bit an overview about the PME is involved. Especially, would I highlight the in-mold decoration application, which goes to the car industry, for example, the machine industry, so on. Then you have some displays, as you can see here. So all of them has to be printed very precisely, doing one layer to one layer and the whole job on different layer. That's a little bit old-fashioned here. It's gone already, but there are still some small companies that are doing these analog tachodials. Today, they are more digital. Okay. The stretching requirements, we will see this afternoon. I go fast through this slide because we will see this in the afternoon in the practice when we are downstairs in the stretching department.
I think we will prepare some
very
stretching
important,
and
yes.
show it to our
Very
customers.
important is the reproducibility in the stretching. Low, stable, repeatable tension loss, for example. Equal tension level across the whole screen is very important because also after the following coating, exposing, this has always an influence. If something is happening in this stage of the process, you will follow until the end of the print. That means also, if you have a weak frame like this, you are not able to have equal tension, for example, because the force is the focus on the frame. If you stretch a mesh on a square meter size, on every side of the frame with 20 Newton, you have 200 kilo force.
So generally we
Keep
can say
in mind the force of this.
So we can say the quality print starting here.
Yes, in the very beginning. Sometimes people are investing in very expensive printing equipments, but they forget the screen printing frame. That you can see the comparison between a normal polyester mesh to the PME in warp and weft direction. We have two directions in the mesh, as you know. And you can see here the strengthness comparing to the elongation. We have the availability of a higher tension, less elongation, means you can print in close tolerancy. This gives an overview about this, especially for the stretching stencil service. They have in his stretching facility this table. In this table, they can see how tension they can reach with the mesh in 1 by 1 meter. Means, for example, if you have a 120, 35, 1 by 1 meter over 40. If you get a larger frame, then they will reduce the maximum tension.
Of course, we know it, so
You know it. I make the test with you this afternoon.
I'm looking forward for it. Thank you.
Follows the next step. That's the stencil making. It's a topic of Milan, maybe I think so, in this afternoon also. If you have a balanced stretched mesh, then you get also a homogeneous coating. If you have not a homogeneous coating, different EOMs, that will have an influence later on the exposure process, because then you have not always the same distance, and you get some unknown mistakes, also some partial moire, for example. So, doesn't matter, you can use the direct emulsion or capillary film. The exposure is up to if you have a white mesh or yellow mesh, for example. The resolution characteristic is, you have two resolution characteristics. One is the mesh has a resolution characteristic, and on the other hand side, the artwork has a resolution characteristic. That has to fit together. And finally, printing process. your duty here, that you reach a nice printing as in the high print on, for example, that you have no less reject rate that costs a lot of money, for example, and finally a precise printing from layer to layer and in the whole printing job.
Okay.
Just a little bit basics about the mesh. As I told you, we have a warp and weft direction. We have threads per centimeter. Our US colleagues are talking about inch, for example. Then, oh, it stops here. We have the opening here, and we have the hole area, and we have the thickness. These are the main parameters in the mesh. So that means you can see here up from the 59-48 up to 165-30 how the characteristics changed in the mesh. It's depending on the coarse mesh up to the fine mesh here.
So all those informations you have in your technical list?
Yes.
And we are able to provide
Yeah,
it
you
to
will
our
see
customers.
later on I have a small technical list. You can see this all in this list. Here we have made some picture from the mesh. You can see easily the opening, how the opening changed from a very coarse mesh, the 59, up to the 165-30, which is very closed. So it's depending the application, what you are printing. So you have to choose the right mesh.
The application and also the artwork?
Yes, of
Okay.
course. Yeah, yeah. It's always a little bit the question about the artwork and the stencil making. You can do also a very nice stencil with the coarse mesh. You have to know how the coating is, 1 by 1, 2 by 2, also that you get a certain EOM. And then you can print also, maybe for with a coarser mesh, a functional paste like a silver paste, a very nice printing. Or you have maybe just a lacquer that you're printing just with the 65-30. It's depending on the printing job. Coming to the theoretical ink volume, many customers are looking after the theoretical ink volume in our technical data list. And now you can see what's happened if, with the opening of the mesh, how much ink you can print. Okay, it's depending also on the UV or solvent ink or special ink. This is another topic, for example. But just in general, you can see what's happened from the very fine mesh down to the 90 mesh here. And then the density is changing from 1.6 up to 2.4. So that means you get a lot more ink on the coarse mesh comparing to the finer one. We have exhibited this this nice print on the SPI show in Essen in Germany in June. I don't know who has visited this exhibition. So it's possible that is printed in England with the PME 180-26 with marble inks, by the way, and emulsion from Kiva. And this is a nice example. He is mixed up some FM and traditional halftones with special effects, like also some haptical effects. And you get in between 20 prints in a high preciseness, such a art screen printing. Some of this art screen printing from famous artists costs more than £30,000, for example. So, and then you need a very precise mesh or stencil that you can fulfill this requirement for the artists. Another nice project is in Switzerland. It's very close to Zurich, next to a railway station. That's so-called the double vision print. Double vision print, it means you print onto the glass as first, in the first printing, a black dot. That was a 3 millimeter black dot. And on the top of the black dot, it comes the white one. The challenging in this project was you can print the black dot, and then you have to keep the stencil in the press, clean it, and print the white one. If you remove the stencil, you get lost because you cannot hold the register anymore. Definitely not.
So
And then with this PME 5948, which we're calling Open Mesh, we were able, or the printer was able to print in one stroke enough layer that he covers the black one. And by the way, the frame size, the largest frame size was 160 by 6 meter. So they have different sizes of glasses, which they fulfill for this very nice building in Zurich.
nice.
By the way, it's controlling also the absorption of the daylight, so you can reduce heating and climatic conditions more or less than 30%. So it's a cost saving by the final.
So you or your partners will define the setup of the printing,
Yeah.
the choosing of the correct mesh, and I don't know, whatever.
Printed with ceramic inks in this case. Then also to the garment, to the t-shirt industry, for the open mesh, because we see that there's a changing from plastisol to water-based inks. It means you need open mesh that you can still have an open area to print. It's up to the climatic condition, humidity and temperature in the printing job, for example, that you can keep open the stencil during the print run as long as you can. And this is the reason why they are using open mesh or have started with open mesh.
And we can reduce the strokes with it?
In some cases, you
Yeah.
can reduce the strokes from 2 to 1 stroke. For 3 or 2 strokes, that's the cost saving and the time saving issue. Exactly, yeah, definitely. And that's an overview about our PME product with the brochures. Then you can see here, this article list contains all the parameters inside that I explained before. And then some technical data sheets about the 2 open mesh in the PME range, 59-48 and 75-40. Also, again, the picture of the opening. Sometimes the 75-40 is also okay for the industrial printing. We have a customer in Germany that had print twice on a PVC foil. And then we changed to the 75-40, and he was able to print with 1 stroke enough layer on the PVC foil, for example. Just an example. It's not only the textile, it's also the industrial part. Okay, coming to the open mesh. It's not new. The definition of open mesh means a certain mesh counts which have a certain opening, for example. The meaning of open mesh is a mesh counts with an open area between 40 and 61%. The mesh opening range of 90 to close to 250 microns, and the theoretical ink volume range between 28 and 70 micron. This is the regulation for open mesh. These are more or less the applications so far for this open mesh. Puff ink for the garments, for example, water-based on t-shirt, high-density colors on t-shirt, or sometimes also some effect printing.
So it's not only for the t-shirts?
Not only for the t-shirt, no. We have a lot of customers now, actually, they're using this in the industrial screen printing part. You can see now the overview about the open mesh. It starts in the 32-70, goes up to the 75-40. So it's an assortment of a few PET 1500s and PME product that you can see here in this list. For example, the 32-70 is very famous for braille printing. Means with this lacquer for the people that cannot see, but they can feel it, what's in the package or not. And that should be very correct, otherwise they get in trouble. The latest one that we have developed is this 43-65. Many customers are using the 43-80, and maybe they have to print twice, and they change to the 43-64, and then can eliminate one printing, for example. So it's up to a little bit also what they are printing, what kind of ink they are using, and so on. All this fits together, and then they can optimize the print.
Okay.
Then shortly to my final topic is how to control the tension. That's very important. That not only control the service centrum or the stretching and stencil service the
Especially
tension.
for the customers.
Also, the customers should be able to check the tension.
So
And
if you
then-
check it, you can provide the preferred prints.
Yes. Okay. Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And
But
this is.
we will talk about
We
it
will talk about
on the expo.
on the expo this afternoon about tensioning, how to tension. This is the topic then in the afternoon. That's our latest development, the TensorCheck 200, followed by the TensorCheck 100 that we can offer to the market.
Nice.
So far, so far. Thank you very much. Any questions from the audience?
Questions maybe will be later.
Later or
Later
this
on the
afternoon?
expo?
This afternoon I'm here, and then we can talk about if you
Okay,
have some
perfect.
questions. Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you so much, Roland.
Já moc
Thank
děkuji
you, Jan.
Rolandovi,
Thank you
moc
very much.
děkuji Honzovi za super prezentaci.